talks about uh, international banking and money markets. Uh, what makes a bank international is that they provide some sort of international banking services. We're going to talk about different kinds of services in terms of, I mean, I'm going to spend only today on Wednesday on this chapter. It's mostly descriptive stuff. I haven't decided whether I'm going to give you a homework assignment on this one yet. Probably not. Maybe I'll combine it with chapter 12. If you look at the list of banks in terms of, at least this is as of 2021, if I'm not mistaken, largest international banks. Let me see. Yeah, this is 2021. The first four are Chinese banks, and they're mostly owned by the government. Then you have, this used to be Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, but they merged with Fuji later on. BNP Paribas is a French bank. HSBC, even though the name says Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, it is actually a British bank. And Bank of America, Credit Agricole is also a French bank. Sumitomo is Japanese. We have Wells Fargo. This is in terms of the asset size. I'm not necessarily sure the Chinese numbers are accurate because their recognition of distressed assets are a little bit different from how we do it in the United States, but they're large. Now, why do you even do international banking? Why not just do all your business with, I don't know, UK Federal Credit Union? One, these banks, as you have seen, tend to be pretty large banks. So they have pretty low marginal costs. They already have marketing and managerial knowledge. So they don't have to repeat all of that. Most importantly, the knowledge advantage is rather important. These banks have knowledge about international markets. You know, if you want to do some type of business in India, even if you don't want to go with an Indian bank because you don't know them, I don't know, you could go to Citibank or JP Morgan. More than likely, they have branches there. If not, they have people who has the knowledge. They obviously provide information services about the home country. Prestige is one of the important things. Are they going to do international transactions with Citizens Guarantee Bank here, or are you going to do it with, JP Morgan? There may be advantages with respect to regulation, uh, depending upon their presence. If you do business with domestic banks, they're subject to US regulations. But if you do business with international banks, depending upon how they're set up, the transactions you make could be, or the business you make could be subject to less regulations. For example, if Citibank has a branch or subsidiary in Pakistan, That subsidiary is subject to only Pakistani regulations, not US regulations. So it may bring regulatory advantage or cost advantages. And there could be defensive strategy advantages with respect to wholesale and retail. Obviously, transaction costs are much lower with international banks because A, they're very active in those international markets. B, they're pretty big, so they can be competitive. And, you know, growth advantages and obviously risk reduction using international diversification. Now, the kind of services provided by international banks depends upon what sort of offices they have or what sort of services they provide. The simplest international banking service your bank could provide to you is a correspondent bank. Suppose you normally bank with, let's say, Fifth Third. Okay, we don't think of Fifth Third as an international bank, right? For a lot of different reasons, you don't want to work with anybody else. You don't like JP Morgan, you don't like big banks, and you want to work with your local big bank. But you are also an importer, right? So you want services related to that business. So you want to be able to make your international payments. So you go to Fifth Third, and you say, all right, I'm importing $10 million worth of stuff every month from Japan. So how can you help me? And Fifth Third says, we don't have a branch in Japan, but I have relationships with, let's say, Sakura Bank, okay? Or let's use the largest Japanese bank. I'm going to use the old name, Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, okay? They're basically the largest bank in Japan. I'm going to have a correspondent bank relationships with Tokyo Mitsubishi. Here's how that works. I'm on a sense, I'm the importer, and let's say Patel is my exporter in Japan. I want to send $10 million to his account, but you can't do it just like you do it here. There's no Venmo or Zelle in international banking services. Probably in 5 to 10 years there will be, but right now there isn't. And you can't simply do a wire transfer just like you're doing in US. And if I write a check and give it to you for $10 million, you're going to take it to your bank, deposit it, and through Feds working as the clearinghouse services, all that is taken care of in the background. You don't have that in the international banking. So instead, I give instruction to Fifth Third and say, please send $10 million using international wire services, which we're going to talk about. But the way that works, Fifth Third calls, or these days simply emails, Tokyo Mitsubishi and says, okay, please, Fifth Third first opens the account in Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi. So I'm supposed to give $10 million, 10 billion yen to Patel, let's say, or 1 billion yen. Please deduct 1 billion yen from my account and send it within Japan to Patel's account. That's it, done. So they are basically my correspondent. They do my transactions inside Japan for me. Whenever somebody's going to pay me, they're going to do the same thing. I mean, some other client is going to send it inside the Japan wire transfer or check, and that check is going to be deposited into my Tokyo Mitsubishi account. If all you're doing is payments, that's pretty much all you need to do. Or, I'm a Japanese worker uh, who works in the Toyota factory in Georgetown. I want to send money back home. The first thing I do is there's no raid on the plant. You guys heard about that raid in South Carolina to a South Korean auto firm? I think it was Daewoo, but I'm not sure. One of those.